And I recently took a trip. You're all aware of. I went down to King's Boxing down in Philadelphia, Kingsdom's Boxing down in Philadelphia, and I had an amazing time. I had an amazing time. I'm gonna wait on a few announcements, but uh, I went there and I met the young men and women there that go there and box, and they gave me a gift, and it is a world championship title from their gym, and they have all legendary Philadelphian fighters on the belt. A lot of fighters you will recognize. Look at the Executioner, Hawkins, Mildred Taylor, all of them. And this was a beautiful gift. I'm gonna put it up. I gotta find a place for it. I think I'm gonna take down the IBO. I'm gonna have to put it up there, right? Or I want to stretch it out somewhere. I'm gonna have to move some stuff around, but we're definitely gonna find a place for it. It's beautiful, and it was a great gift. And I had an amazing time down there. And there's more to come off this story. But I went down to Philadelphia and took a look around, you know, and you can't help but wonder the rich history in Philly of boxing and all the legendary fighters that the city has produced. When you think back of all the fighters and you look around at what's happening in the state of Philly, it's happening almost everywhere. Drugs are rampanting our streets, and there are very few men and women that are giving back to the community, and especially boxing. These are one of the places that give back every day to the community and to the kids. And their fight is a tough one. It's a tough one, but it can be done. When you come together, you can really get things done. And we need to come together for these children. I believe that the city of Philly has a lot more fighters that are going to be up and coming, or the city is going to produce more world champions. In fact, met a young man in there by the name of King. I'm going to be talking more about him later, so remember the name. And there was a lot of things I wanted to say to the young man, but I didn't want to overstep on any of the coaches. And it was the first time I was meeting him. But honestly, he's 15 years old, and I looked into his eyes. He has a modest appearance about himself, kind of shy, um, and real soft spoken in words. And I couldn't help but wonder, he has a warrior spirit, and you can see it also in his eyes. When you ask him how far he wants to go in boxing, he modestly looks down. He's at the point where a lot of us have been in the sport of boxing, not really believing or thinking that these men were some kind of like supermen, only to find out they were like me and you, world champions. And he's at a point where you can see that he understands fighting. He's seen a lot of fighting, but fighting hasn't laid down to him yet. He hasn't gotten that second set of lenses where you see boxing as like a dance. It starts to unravel to you. And you realize you can accomplish a lot without a lot of movement, wasted energy. And these are things that come in time. I was talking to the young man, and um there was a lot I wanted to say, but I felt there would be another time for it. But if he was standing in front of me, I would tell him, you take it as far as you want to go, but Don't slack on your training ever. Some people use boxing as a way of conditioning. Others use it, to learn how to defend themselves. And then there's the rare few that choose it as a career. Not many men and women are built for this. And I told them, train harder in the gym so on the night of the fight, it will be easy. There would be nothing that would surprise you. His dream was to fight in the Olympics. Unfortunately, we know all about that and how the boxing has been taken out of the Olympics. Whether or not they'll put it back, time will tell. But I still tell him to dream because you never know how far you can go. I look at him and I wonder, could I be talking to the next bantamweight champion or 130-pound champion? You know, you never know. You never know. It's just sometimes hard work will beat God given talent. You just got to know how to persevere. In amateur fightings, I told them, don't worry about your losses in amateur fights. This is like the job interview. If you can do this, then one day you can go pro. Take all your losses and all your wins as experience. Embrace the moment, embrace the fight. Learn how to bring your opponent's intensity up and see if he's comfortable there. I told him he has to learn how to embrace those kind of moments. There'll be moments in the fight that you'll never know until the day of the fight. There are things in the gym we do not train for. It's not like the coach grabs the whistle and says, okay, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get a standing 8 count. Look at me, look at me. And I want you to compose yourself. Now fight. We don't train for those moments. We don't know what you're going to look like when you're tired and you can't even raise your hands to defend yourself. Do you quit? See, the human body can be pushed to places you never even thought of. There's moments like this that'll show you who you truly are. When everything's going good, you can shine, you can look good. But I'll tell you who you are when you're in trouble. And if you can come back in the fight. These are the things I would tell them. And, boxing is an art. The number one rule in all of boxing is to hit without being hit. Some fighters are criticized for that. Some fighters are true masters at it. And no matter your style, no matter your technique, no matter all the fighters you've seen that have come and gone, my biggest suggestion, listen to your body. You can take pieces from everybody's fighting game and mold the fighter you will soon become. Don't try to be him. Don't try to look like him. Fight like yourself. That's You have to know yourself as a fighter. You know, there's that Philly shell defense. Ironically, Mayweather turned it into the Mayweather defense. No one, they always try to replicate it, but never duplicate it. And I always tell everyone, even the kids I've seen come in my gym, that is a style I will never teach. Because unless you had all of his God given talents, everything that God breathed into that man, You would have to have his gas tank. His cardio was insane. You would have to have his cat like reflexes. You would have to have his speed, his twitch like movements. You would have to have his footwork. You would have to have everything Mayweather had. Oh, don't forget the ring IQ, the when and the where, when to set the punch up. What are you looking for? How to be two steps in front of your opponent. Those were the elite fighters. I talked about this in my videos before that the comparison to a good fighter, a great fighter, an elite fighter, a good fighter will have you figured out within 6, 8 rounds. He'll have you figured out. It's a good fighter. A great fighter will have you figured out between 5, 6, and 7. It's a great fighter. An elite fighter will have you figured out in the moment. You make too many mistakes in front of him, he's going to make you pay for it. He reads your body language. He understands boxing. He understands the dance. He can recognize if you can't go fight going right or if you can't fight going left. It's typically the side you don't train for. And that's elite fighters. They can see all that. And these are all things that you learn as you go on in boxing. Boxing is not an easy sport. It's not meant for anyone. Meaning, I've seen men walk through the door all tough in a speed bag, ran them out of the gym. The funny movement they would make with their hands or what they felt like people were watching them, they never came back. I've seen jump ropes get guys out of the gym. The ability not to understand how to jump rope for a week, they got frustrated, left. I've seen people leave the gym because of the smell of the hand wraps. This is not for everyone, but it is for the chosen ones. The ones that choose this path. Sometimes when I look back, people ask me why I used to fight so much, and I had no way to explain it. I had no way to tell them the fire that burns within a person that wants to compete. And I don't have any malice in my heart at times. I can truly fight with a smile because there's nothing like outsmarting a guy and seeing that look on his face when he realizes he fucked up. And then, like, the worry that sets in just before the finish. And then knowing you put a man on it flat on his back in front of all his friends. It's like a surge of energy like runs through your body. I, I'm speaking for myself. If anybody ever felt like this, let me know in the comment. And there was nothing like it. And I knew then that some people want to jump off buildings. Some people want to jump off bridges or get behind a car and drive really fast. That's what does it for them. This is what does it for me. I wish more people took interest of me, but I won't blame them. I have my faults why I really never pursued it and what happened through my life. But boxing's always been there. It's always been there. And in my small way, this is how I make my contribution. I invite you to join me here at Round One Sports Talk as we talk about some of the biggest fights, sometimes controversial, but we can still talk about boxing. And the beauty behind this sport, knockouts don't get old, do they? Nah. Y'all can watch knockouts all day. That shit don't get old, bro. And you know, I I uh I have a lot to say, but as you can see, I pause because I reserve the right to make another video for another day. Let's just leave it like that. But as right now, I had a great time with my family, and I hope to go back down there many, many more times and try to give back to the sport of boxing. So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this video right here, man. Please let me get a like on the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and stay in tune. I got a lot to talk about here at Round One and boxing. Peace.